Okay, hello there. Hey, Dawn. Hi, Marianne. Howdy, howdy. Had to start earlier today. We're having an internet person come out between 2 and 4, and I had to move up the time. I'm hoping that I'm going to get better reception. We're going to up our service a little bit. So that's why I'm doing it earlier today. So, Marianne, my Thanksgiving was great. I'm glad it's done because I had to cook, but it was very nice. I hope yours was as well. Hey, Rose. Okay. So anyway, today I'm hoping to present the riveting tools that I have, two different brands, and I hope I don't confuse you because this is a very confusing subject to me. Maybe it won't be to you, but there's just so many parts and pieces that it can be very confusing. So, hey, Dawn. Hi, Benira. So anyway, I'm hoping that if this is something that you're in the market for, that you will have a little bit more information before you make your purchase. I have two different brands. The first one is the Crafted Findings Rivet tool, which I'm not sure how long ago it came out on the market, but I've had mine for a good many years, probably about 10 years that I've had this. And my particular one, I think I got it, well, I know I got it up in Milwaukee at the Bead and Button show. And 10 years ago, like $100, I'm like, I don't know, but I went ahead and I did it. And I was never sorry that I bought it. However, this end, the piercing end, I broke it. I don't know how else to say it, but the threading in here is kind of screwed up when I try to put in a new tool. So I just don't use this side. But I have the other, the knockoff brand. This is by the Beadsmith. This is Beadsmith Easy Rivet tool. And so I use this one for the piercing side. So it's not a huge loss. I could buy a replacement tool, but I think, like I was saying, I think the threading is messed up in here. So I hate to spend the money on another tool when I have so many other ones that I can use in its place. Okay. Good. So far, so good on the broadcast, huh? Good. Well, nothing's changed yet. So I'm hoping that after this internet guy comes out, I hope he can solve the issues that we've been having. My daughter's been home. She just came home about a week ago, and we've been having a ton of internet problems since she's been back. So she's using a lot of stuff that I'm thinking is pulling. So we need to up the service. So, Jazz, hi Jazz. I have no idea why you're not getting notifications. If you've signed I think there's a little box that you check to receive the lives. But I know I've done that with other group pages too, and sometimes I get them, sometimes I don't. So that must be a Facebook issue because I have no answer for that. I'm sorry. Hey, Deb. All right. Trying to see who's here. Looks like we have a nice little gathering. Anyway, like I said, I hope I don't confuse you further because there's a lot of information and I confuse myself. You guys already know that. So let's start with the Crafted Findings. First, I want to say I'm not affiliated with any of these companies, so you can't purchase you can't purchase these through me. I mean, you could, the Beadsmith, because I am a rep, but the Crafted Findings, I don't have any affiliation with them. So I'm just giving you my opinion on these things, and you know, you can take that for whatever it's worth. So, hey, Deborah. Okay, so anyway, like I said, I was going to start with the Crafted Findings, which I can easily locate because it's missing the one tool. This is the standard reach, what they call the standard reach. This is the one that it was the only one that was available when I purchased it. And actually, I've been very satisfied with it for what I do. It comes with a whole slew. Well, it doesn't come with it. You just get the tool. And one side is a 1/16 piercing tool, which will make your hole. And then the other side is the rivet side where you can set your rivet. Okay. But they do sell a whole slew of attachments that you can do different things with. So since I teach, I do use these sometimes in my classes, and I was able to purchase several of these Beadsmith ones so that my students could use them and they didn't all have to wait for a turn to use the tool. But since I have so many, I decided to put the attachments on some of the others so that I don't have to interchange them all the time. So how this works is, let me see if I can get the camera down here a little bit better. Put my eyeballs on. I have quite a few different attachments for the Crafted Findings. I know the lettering is backwards for you guys, but I'll try to explain everything as best I can. So the standard tool comes with a little hex wrench, and then it's got the piercing tool and the rivet side. So you can change these out if you want to. With the little hex wrench, you can take, well, this is how you do it. You take the hex wrench, do I have the right hex wrench? I may not. This comes with so many different little parts and pieces. Yeah, that one fits. All right, so you just unscrew this little nut here, and then you can pop out the rivet base, that's this side, okay, and you could change it with something different, okay. Let's say you want to well, let me see here. You can use this tool to also pierce, like the inside of a ring, a curved surface. So you would, this is a domed base. This is what you would use if you wanted to curve a inside of a ring, or not inside, but, oh, okay. Retract that back a little bit, then you can, I'm all thumbs. All right, so if you don't have fat fingers, it helps. All right, so I put the little doming base in here, and then you put the little screw back in. Or not. No, you have to put that in. Okay, you put the little screw in. Okay, and now I'm going to switch this out and put a piercing tool in here, since this one's missing. So I'll just put this in here. And now I can pierce a curved surface. Okay, and I will show you how I do that. So I'm going to move over here to my vise. It's easy to use this tool when you have it mounted in a vise. So I'm going to slip this in, and then I just did a crude little ring, copper ring here, just so you could see for the benefit. So I can pierce a hole in this band without flattening it out if I didn't have this little domed base. Okay, so I'm just going to put that in the center and pierce my hole. Okay, you can feel that breakthrough. This one's a little bit stiff. Okay, so now I have a hole in the band, and I didn't damage this band at all by doing that. Okay, so that's the domed base. That's what this is for, is when you want to get inside a ring or a curved surface like that. All right, I'm going to take this off. Take this off, and well, actually, all right, I have to think about that. Okay, so I'm going to take that off and get that part out of there, and I'm going to put it back in my labeled baggie, because if you buy a lot of the little parts and pieces, it's very easy to forget what they are or what they're for. And all the part numbers are printed on, they're printed on the little tool handle. So you can always look them up, you know, by the part number too, if you're not sure what that part is. It's very easy to get confused with this stuff. All right, so I'm going to put my rivet tool back in, the riveting part. It's always more difficult when it's live. When it's not live, it seems to go more smoothly for me. All right, so I put that back in, and I'm going to put the rivet tool opposite end in there. See, that's nice and smooth. Turns real nice. Okay, so that's the crafted findings. It comes, well, I shouldn't say, I keep saying it comes with, but it doesn't. It's only the base and the piercing on one side, the rivet tool on the other side. The domed base was an add-on that you purchase. Okay, and it also has the reverse rivet flaring tool, which this is where I'm going to get confused. All right, this is for the reverse flare, is also got, that also has a little domed base on here too, and that's for setting the rivet in this curved ring. Okay, so that way I can place the rivet and still not smash the ring. All right. Hey, Jennifer. All right, so why don't we go ahead and since I'm talking about that, I'll go ahead and place a rivet in that. All right. So this is a whole nother subject, is rivets. And I'm just going to, well, I'll put a washer on it and a rivet, and I'll talk about all these things as we go along. So I'm going to take a washer, and since I'm only putting a washer on it, that's not a lot of thickness, so I don't need a very tall rivet. So let's see here. I'm going to pick, they come in all different kinds of lengths, and I'm going to, in the handout, I'll have a lot more information, so that way I'm not stuttering about and you don't know what the heck I'm talking about. All right, so I'm going to pick one. This is a 1/16 in length, no, I'm sorry, it's a 1/16 in diameter and 3/32 in length, which means it's a very, oh, I got a dirty hand. It's a very small, short rivet, okay? So I'm going to put this rivet in the washer and put that through the hole that I had in the ring here. And then, where's my domed piercer? Okay, domed. See, I'm doing it already. Getting confused. I guess, you know, it doesn't take much. It does not take much. Oh, the reverse flare. That's what I want. The reverse flare. And I am going to, that's not right. This is right. I'm going to put the bottom of that rivet in this little domed part here. It's got a little tiny piece that pops up, not pops up, but it is like a little part that is raised inside the base of the dome. And I'm just going to make sure that that's lined up. I'm making it look harder than it really is, but that's because I am well, that was smart. That's because I'm flustered right now, and I always screw up when I'm flustered, so I need to take a breath or something. All right, put that back in. And make sure that there's like a little nub in the base. And I don't think I can get close enough to show you that, but I'm going to try in just a minute. But I want to line up that tube. I can't see what the heck I'm doing either. And then you just twist this down, and that places the rivet. And then inside, I don't think you can see it, but inside it's nice and clean where that rivet is attached. And it didn't deform this ring at all. So that's a real easy way to put a rivet in a ring if you wanted to do that. So with the Crafted Findings tool, that's an additional part that you would have to buy. All right. It also, Crafted Findings also has Oh dear. All right, that was the pierced doming base, which I just used. I used the pierced and then the flaring tool on the crafted findings. It comes, let me show you. This will be in your handout. This was printed from the Crafted Findings website, and this is very helpful. This will tell you all the different parts and what they do and their part numbers if you want to buy these extra parts. And like I said earlier, the Crafted Findings is just the base. You get the hex wrench, the piercing tool, and the rivet tool in the base unit that you buy. These are add-ons. So you can use the 1/16 hole in your base tool, or you could also purchase a 3/32. So that's available too as an add-on. So you can use both different size holes. It's either 1/16 or 3/32. And you can also buy an eyelet flaring tool, which places the eyelets that I like to put in most of my pendants that I make, because I think it finishes them off real nice. And I probably don't have one right here to show you, but I'll try to show you that later on. Okay. All right, so yeah, I'm having a confusing day here. So this stuff, like I said, it's confusing for people to buy, but before you make that investment, you need to know, what's available. So when I first bought my tool, it was the standard, it was the only version. Then they came out with what they call a long reach version, which gives you a little bit more, it goes in about 5 millimeters deeper, so you can get into your metal a little bit further. An example would be, this is a 1.5 inch disc, and this is a 2-inch disc, okay? So if I want to get in the center of the disc, I can with the standard reach. It will fit. In and make a hole in the center, and then you can also put a rivet in the center if you wanted to do that. However, with a 2-inch disc, you can't quite get to the middle, to the center. All right, but if you had the long reach, that will make it that extra 5 millimeters to get to the center of a 2-inch disc. If you're not doing big pieces like this, that doesn't matter. If you still want to make a hole in the center, but you don't necessarily care about riveting it, if you have one of these Eurotool hole punches, you can get any place in the piece of metal. You can get in the middle of a larger piece. So that's kind of a nice thing to know, which I'm not really talking about these today, but I am just wanting to show you that if you want to get in further to pierce, this tool will allow you to do that. However, you can't put a rivet in the middle without the long reach tool. So you just have to kind of decide what your needs are for that. So far, I haven't found the need to put a rivet in the middle of a large piece, but you may. So that's an option. But, I had said a couple of weeks ago in one of the other demos that if you hadn't bought one of these Crafted Findings tools and you were considering it, that I would go for the long reach. And, I probably shouldn't have said that, because it really just depends on what you want this tool for. So the standard reach is just fine unless you really want to place rivets in, in a deeper area, reaching further than you can with the standard. So I'm sure that's clear as mud. But since I purchased the Crafted Findings, the Beadsmith came out with their version of the Rivet tool. And like I said, I had bought several of them because of teaching classes, but I had my husband experiment on one of them to try to cut a deeper groove in here, but it kind of messed up the metal. So that wasn't really a good idea. And so I don't recommend doing that. Please don't do that. But the Beadsmith tool, oddly enough, the Crafted Findings parts fit in the Beadsmith tool. So that's kind of an interesting thought, because if you bought the Beadsmith version, you could buy the add-ons from the Crafted Findings and use them on this tool. The tool itself, when I bought it, was about $100. And now there's still about, I don't know, there may be 89, something like that, for the Crafted Findings. The Beadsmith you can get anywhere, depending on what retailers are charging. You can get them either like $35 to $50. So that's considerably less. The Beadsmith, when you buy their brand, their packet, it comes with it's the tool, which has got the rivet end on one side, the piercing end, the 1/16 piercing on this end, and it also comes with the domed base. So that's something that's included. You can also buy the 3/32 piercing set and rivet set together. So that's the only add-on that you can buy that I'm aware of from the Beadsmith that has the ability to get the 3/32 attachment. There is no eyelet flaring tool from the Beadsmith. So that's something, if you want to place eyelets, you might consider getting from Crafted Findings, if you were going that route. I'm not saying which way you should do it. I'm just saying what I have discovered. I was pleasantly surprised when I tried the Crafted Finding tools in the Beadsmith tool to see that they fit. And I thought, wow, that's kind of getting, more bang for your buck. As far as their quality, I really can't see any difference between the two tools. The only thing I could say is if you had problems with your purchases from Crafted Findings, I'm sure that you would get some good customer service. I don't think, this is just my thought, I don't think that you're going to be able to get that same kind of service on your Beadsmith tool. So, I mean, it's possible, but I've never gone that route, so I don't really know. Okay, so let's see where I'm at here. All right, so that was this. So the dome base is what you need for rings, okay, if you're doing that. Covered that. As far as placing a rivet, I'll see if I can show you this a little bit better, possibly. I'll do that the same with this. I have just a little scrap piece of copper here. And so I'm going to where's my piercer? I confuse myself. All right, so I'm going to pierce. This is the Beadsmith tool. I'm going to pierce a 1/16 hole Okay, so I have a little hole right there, and I'm going to take my rivet and put it in the hole. Come on. The two-hole punch, well, maybe I shouldn't talk about that because that's another confusing. That might just add to the confusion. It's really odd because these, I made a comparison of punches, of hole punches, and they say the one end is 1/16 in diameter, and they're both 1/16, yet one is a little larger hole than the other. This should not be taking me this long to do, but I'm being a butterfingers here. My God. All right. I don't know if it's my... Well, that doesn't seem to want to go through. All right. Get a different one. It should be the same though. Yeah, that's the same hole. Maybe. Come on, get out of here. Didn't realize these tools were so dirty. I messed up my mat that I'm working on. It's like greasy. It seems like this hole is tight. That's exactly what it is. That's a bad comparison, isn't it? All right. Well, I shouldn't do this, but I am. Because that hole should work. All right, so it just needed a little extra push. All right, so the rivet is in. The rivet is in. You can see where it's at right here. And now I'm going to take the rivet end and I'm going to put the head of the rivet on this little, it's got like a little dip inside this pad here. And that's where the rivet, God, it's like a 3-ring circus here. I'm a 3-ring circus. Okay, get that back in there. So I'm going to put that rivet in there, and then there's a little tiny nub. I don't know if you can see it, but there's this little tiny nub that's in this end of the tool, and that little nub goes inside, and this fell off again, that goes inside the tube. It's like a hollow tube in there, if you can see that. So that goes, the little nub goes inside the hollow part. And I'll just rotate that till I get it fixed in here. All right, so that's in there. And just turn it till it's stiff. And then you take it out, and that rivet is very smooth. Very nice. Right there. Okay. So that is the 1/16 size rivet. Then there are 3/32 size rivets, and really they're just project specific, really. I tend to like the 1/16 rivets a little bit more, but this is a comparison of size. And actually, this one looks a little longer, but this is how they came, as 1/16. So if you're not putting a lot of pieces together, you don't really need a lot of length of the rivet. It just depends on your project, what you're doing. But I like the little hole, or the little rivet head more than the large one. So I don't use these very often. So, and I've also marked down in my handout some of the sizes that I use that I like the best for what I do. But they can come quite long. I'll show you here. I've got I would say the 3/32, the 5/32, and the 7/32, these are lengths that I'm talking about, are the ones that I probably, oh, and the 1/16. The 1/16, this is really tiny. I'll put a copper one out here. That's a really, really short one. And then, I mean, they go quite long. And there's even longer ones than that. But I don't, I just haven't really used pieces that are stacked that high for a rivet this long. But I like to have them, a few of them anyway on hand in case that need arises. But there's all kinds of different lengths available. But I'll have that in the handout as well. I get all of my rivets from the Crafted Findings site, or Metal Clay Findings is actually what you, the website that you go to. So I think it's maybe a combination site. I don't really know, because the Crafted Findings is the tool, but it goes by Crafted, or Metal Clay Findings is the name of the website. So, and that'll be in the handout too, so you don't have to take notes necessarily. They come in different colors, or different metals, I should say. There's aluminum, and there's brass, and copper. And I keep them, oh, and they also have sterling silver in the rivets, but I have not found sterling silver in eyelets. Okay, so there are sterling silver ones as well, if you wanted to use those. I keep all my rivets in these little jars, these little plastic containers, and I mark the bottom of the container and the top of the container, because it's very easy to confuse or get them all mixed up, especially when you're doing a class with other people and stuff. So if you mark your containers like that, you won't mess up. Well, you shouldn't mess up with the sizes. Now, see, I took some of these out of one of these packages or containers. This was the 1/16. Okay, so I don't get those confused. And then I can always look and make sure that I've put them away in the right containers. I also get my eyelets from Crafted Findings, and I only use the 3/32 size, which is the larger hole, and I use these as in the hanging hole of my copper projects, my enamel or other projects that I want to put the hanging hole in, and I think it just finishes it off real nice. So so that is the only size that I buy in the rivets, but or in the eyelets, but they do have a big variety of those as well. So that's just based on what you need. All right. So, like I was saying, the Beadsmith brand seems to be, well, I guess they're both versatile. It's just a cost factor, I would suppose, as far as if you get the original crafted findings tool or you get the Beadsmith tool. You know, that's totally up to you, but I think you get more bang for your buck if you get this base, the Beadsmith base, and then you get the other attachments. And in fact, if you do a lot of riveting, it might pay to have two of the bases, and that way you can keep, dedicate them to some of the tools so that you don't have to interchange them so often. But I mean, that's not really a hassle. It's just a matter if that's what you want to do or not. I don't know. That's totally up to you. Let me look at comments here. Yeah, I'm a hot mess, Jazz. That's really mostly how I am, like, all the time. It's a miracle that I get through some of the stuff I get through because, it's sometimes it's a real shit show around here. So I have to make fun though because I gotta laugh, Okay, let's see here. Yeah, I mean, it just, if I start off flustered, that's usually how the whole demo will go. It's just one blunder after another, but, oh, let's see, missed the beginning. Okay, yeah, you can always watch this later. Last week, I don't know what the heck happened. I've been doing this for over a year and not had any problem with saving the demos or anything, but it was like, where'd my demo go? It wasn't on the page. And somehow it got listed as a your story kind of thing. And if I pushed a button for that, I have no awareness that I did that because, there's not that many choices when you do the live as far as where it's going or anything. So that was just a real mystery. But at least I found it and I was able to save it. And I still have to get around to putting these on YouTube, but I think that's probably the safest place that they could go because Facebook is kind of unreliable, I'd say, on some things. But I don't want to knock it too much because it's a free service, and I really wouldn't probably be doing this if it wasn't so easy to do. Holly says, gotta say I've had the Beadsmith one for years and I still have to review the process. You like how I labeled the sides. Okay, yeah, I really haven't found any fault with the Beadsmith one. I don't like to say I like one over the other because I think they both do the same thing fine. I was pretty much looking at it solely from the aspect of price. So if funds are limited, I don't think you should spend money needlessly, but it just depends on what you want. And there again, if you need service from something, sending it back or whatever might be, or contacting Metal Clay Findings probably would be much easier than trying to contact the Beadsmith for that. What else? They changed the names. Yeah, it's true, Dawn. That is true. Okay. So I don't know that the handout is just basically pretty much what I just said, but everything is written down so that you can see it a lot easier. I find it a lot easier to look at that. And I just went, like I said, to the Crafted Findings site, and I downloaded the PFDs for both the standard and the long reach so you can see. But I did find out that if you bought the long reach tool, the long reach tools, the add-ons, are not interchangeable with the standard. So I don't know that they would fit on the beadsmith tool, if you can follow what I'm saying. I just have the standard tool, and these add-on parts, so far, at least the ones that I have all fit on the easy rivet system from Beadsmith. So that's kind of a plus. And you know, you make your decisions, but it depends basically on how much you rivet, you know, if you want to justify the expense. But I think they're worth every penny for the tool and the little add-ons, because you can do so much and it's so much easier. My skills today were pretty bad as far as handling the rivets and getting them actually placed in there. But, you know, like someone mentioned, you've seen me do this before without any problem. So, you know, I think that it's a cool system, and quick. And it really, because you have all the variety of the different lengths, it takes the guesswork out of a lot of stuff. So anyway, I think that's going to be it for today, unless you guys have questions. If I can answer them or not, I hope. Yeah, Rose, I think that's the way to go. If you can get good prices on the base sets, I would say if you can swing it, go for 2 of them, and that way you can put some of the tools on one and some on the other. And if you already have a 2-hole punch, this standard 2-hole punch that's from Eurotool, I guess. This has the 1/16 and the 3/32 holes in here. You could use this to pierce all your holes and then dedicate the 2 rivet tools to different attachments, and then that way you don't have to swap them out so much. But if you did, you know, it only takes a couple minutes to switch everything out. So let's see. Holly, maybe that would work, to do beeswax on a little stick. That might work. I don't know, I could give that a shot too. I'm always looking for ways to make things a little bit easier, and also to make things cost effective, you know, to have them work out. I would definitely label these if you do get a couple different ones with the different attachments on there, so that kind of takes the guesswork out of that. But definitely keep your things marked if you can. It will make your life so much easier when you're hunting things down, that everything is in the right place, and then you can make your switches very easily. So organization is key. A lot of times I don't feel like I am very organized, but in the scope of things, for little things like this, it's really important to be organized. So unless I can answer any other questions or demo anything else, let's see. Yeah, Dawn, you could. The sticky wax, yep, you probably could, but to me, I'm just fumble fingers right now. So normally I don't have any problem or not much problem with those things. So, okay. So next week, what my plan is to do a charm bracelet. Um, I had great fun putting this together. And this is, let me see if I can just lay it out here. I'll lay it out. God, I hate that I messed up this pad. Oh well. Such is life. All right. This is, I'll bring the camera down in just a second. All right. This is the charm bracelet for next week. It's sterling silver and turquoise. That's my focus on this one. And it'll be making a chainmail bracelet, just the 2 and 2 and 2 pattern, which is very simple to do. It's just putting 2 jump rings into 2 jump rings into 2 jump rings all the way around. And then I added a bunch of different charms that I had, silver beads. These are little metal clay embellishments here that I soldered on little jump rings to. And just some fun little things, little sterling charms that I had from, gosh, a long time that I didn't really use for anything, but a lot of metal clay embellishments here. Little bee there, little bird, my little burrows, my little tiny burrows. Oh, I love them. And then, you know, just some different kinds of beads, which I think is kind of a fun thing. And then a clasp, a toggle clasp that I made that, and my little chicken foot. Got my chicken foot in here somewhere. Little charm. So yeah, there's lots of different things that you can put on there. And you know, if you don't want to make something like this, I mean, that's totally up to you. There's my chicken foot. Totally up to you, but it just gives you some ideas for different things. And I happen to just love the look of turquoise and silver together, so you know, just put some little things like that together. So that's kind of what I've got going for next week. And I've got a couple other things in the works. I do make my own jump rings, Jazz. It's so much nicer to be able to make your own. These are 18 gauge wire. It's 18 gauge wire that I'm using for these, and these are, I think these are maybe, I can't remember, 5mm jump rings. Oh, and I think that's totally, you know, whatever you want to do. Yeah, these were 5mm jump rings for the chain. And I like to use like a 18 gauge 3mm jump ring for the to solder the little loops on. No, I'm probably, Deborah, I'm probably going to go back to, well, I am going to go back to my 230 slot. That just works out a little bit better for me in the day. I just did this because I'm waiting for the internet guy to come over here, and he could only, his window was 2 to 4, so I wanted to be done before he disrupts anything. So, but all in all, it looks like this broadcast turned out better than last week. So I see that we got interrupted a couple of times, but not too bad. But I hate when everything gets pixelated. It's just a mess, and you can't really see what the heck I'm doing. And Jazz, it is much more cost effective too. You know, the initial expense for the jump ring maker and stuff, all those things, they're pretty pricey when you're first, when you're outlaying the cash, but they pay for themselves over and over again if this is something that you do and you sell your work. It's just so handy because a lot of different patterns call for different sizes of jump rings, and it's hard to find, sources of where to get those certain sizes. So if you can make your own, I think it's wonderful. Um, and like I said, it takes time to accumulate all the things, but that would be a very handy tool to have in your shop or studio. So yeah. So next week, ooh, I just love this. I loves it. Um, okay, so that's what I said, what I had next week, and I've got a couple other ideas coming up, and beyond that, I'm kind of wondering what to do. Um, I hope you guys all had a great Thanksgiving. I should have started off with that, but I'm a putz. No. Anyway, if you have any questions on this, just ask away. I will try to answer anything. Um, on the soldering iron, Mary Ellen, I might. If there's interest, I might consider doing that. Is there anything specific you're looking for or not? Hi, Suni. Suni asked me earlier about ornaments that are colored inside, and if there's interest, I'll do that too. It's with alcohol inks and clear ornaments, and I guess you just pour in the alcohol inks and you get different color combinations, and I think that might be kind of fun. I don't know if anybody's interested in that, but um, if there is, I could do that, and probably soon, because if you wanted to do it before Christmas, that might be a nice time to get that done relatively soon. All right, I will, in a couple of minutes, I'm going to look over my notes. I think I might change a couple of things here on the handout, but then I will make that available to you guys. And like I said, I hope that I didn't confuse you further, but I think once you see this on paper, it might be a little bit more helpful to you. And, then if you're going to make a decision, hopefully, hopefully that will be helpful to you. So, Suni, my bottom line on the tool, I think my opinion is I would probably go with the knockoff with the beadsmith and then buy attachments from Crafted Findings. Now, I'm saying that because the attachments that I bought fit in my base for the Easy Rivet Finder. I would assume that they would fit in all of them, therefore, but I can't be 100% sure, because if you bought all that stuff and they didn't fit, then you'd be mad at me. And I don't want you to be mad. But I'm just saying, based on my experience, the Crafted Findings tools fit in the Easy Rivet Beadsmith rivet tool. So, Jazz says, Holly asked a question about your wire for head pins for the bracelet. Oh, I didn't see that. I'm sorry. No, the head pins on the bracelet, I just use commercial ones. But you could, if you wanted to make them, you could just balled wire on there. But I probably wouldn't use very thick wire because you want to make sure you're going to get through the beads. So I've never really tried balling like 24 gauge wire, but that's really what the head pins that I use are 24 gauge. So I guess that's always a possibility. Oh, and I did get, speaking about head pins, I did order that Argentium wire, which I'm hoping is in the mail today. I haven't gotten it yet, but I'm hoping it's in the mail because I wanted to do a little experiment on one of these demos with sterling, fine, and Argentium, versus all those to make head pins and see what what we come up with. I had never used Argentium before, and I saw that Gwen had used it on one of her demos a few weeks ago, and I was just like, wow, that really came out smooth. It was really nice. Seemed pretty easy. So I always kind of shied away from it because it's just like another thing to get into, but and you have to keep things separate, the wires separate and stuff. So I didn't know that I ever wanted to go that route, but I thought I should try it. I should try it and see. And I might be a convert. I don't know. Yeah. Well, that'd be cool. Well, we'll have to see. Jazz will work on that. We'll do a demo on that, and we'll see if we can solve the ball problem. And I'll leave it at that. Okay. All right. I hope that I didn't miss any questions. I don't think I did. So Suni, that's what I think about. If I had to buy it over again, I might just go with the beadsmith thing, the base tool, get maybe a couple of them if I wanted to get other attachments. But that's totally your choice. Oh, and by the way, guys, I happen to have one extra beadsmith tool here available if anybody wants it. It'd be $40 shipped. If you're interested, let me know and I'll get it out to you right away. And I will see you later on the in the group page with the handout. And I think it's time for lunch. So I'll see you guys. Thanks for joining me. I always appreciate your company. Take care. Bye-bye.